Hey y'all, it's Lola the Manager, your new favorite project manager, tech junkie, and entrepreneur. This is episode 20 of Life as a Project Manager. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the PPP. That is Project Manager, Program Manager, and Portfolio Manager. Let's go. So if you've been looking for a job as a project manager, I'm sure you've seen the term program manager or portfolio manager or even a project coordinator pop up, and you're trying to figure out what is all these P's? What's the purpose of it? And the main ones I'm going to focus on are the project, the program, and the portfolio. A project manager manages individual projects from start to finish. They're responsible for the planning, executing, controlling, monitoring, and closing of those projects. They always ensure that project goals are met within its constraints of its specific time, budget, and scope, and they lead project teams and communicate with stakeholders. In short, individuals that identify as project managers are solely focused on one specific project. Even if they work for a company where they are managing multiple projects, all those projects are isolated. They are not interrelated and they do not talk to each other. With that said, let's move on to program manager. A program manager oversees multiple related projects that all bundle up into a program. They ensure alignment of projects with overall program goals. They manage dependency and resources across projects. And they're focused on broader strategic objectives and benefit realization. So if you're a program manager, there are actually multiple projects that fall under your program. They actually create the program in itself, and we'll get into an example later. You may not manage the specific individual projects, but you are responsible for the overall program in itself, meaning all the projects that fall in that bucket. The key difference between a project manager and a program manager are the key projects that they are working on. As I stated before, a project manager, all their projects are individualized. They're isolated. They do not relate to each other. They're not all tied into a specific program. Whereas program managers, all their projects are all related. They all fall under this one specific bucket, and they are responsible for either handling some of those specific projects, or they manage teams of people that are actually being the project managers to those projects within the program. And then you have the portfolio manager. Portfolio managers manage a collection of programs and projects that are typically across the entire organization. These are what you typically hear as enterprise-wide or company-wide initiatives and programs that are taking place. They prioritize these initiatives based on organizational strategy and resource availability. They are looking to balance the risk and returns across the entire portfolio, and they make high-level decisions on whether or not we should move forward with certain projects or if we should terminate them. So when it comes to scope, project managers are focused on individual projects, program managers are focused on multiple related projects, and portfolio managers are focused on organization-wide projects and programs. When it comes to strategic focus, project managers are more tactical. So they have this project, there's tasks that need to be completed, and they focused on that. Whereas as you move up the ladder to program manager and then ultimately up until portfolio manager, now it's all about strategy. It's all strategic. We're not focused on the specific tasks that need to get done. As always, y'all know I have an example. I can't just give it to you dry like that. I got to prep you for something like that. You feel me? So since I love software development, let's use that as our example. Let's say you work for a company that wants to develop a personal finance app. What does that look like for the project manager, the program manager, and the portfolio manager? We're going to start from the top down. So the portfolio manager in this example would be the one that's managing the company's portfolio of financial technology projects. What does this look like? So they're going to evaluate whether or not we should even invest in this personal finance app alongside other projects. So let's say there's an opportunity for us to invest in a cryptocurrency wallet, or there's an opportunity to invest in an investment type of app, right? So they're trying to kind of put these side by side and compare to see which one should we even move forward with. Should we even move forward with the personal finance app? They're going to allocate resources across different programs and projects within the fintech space. They're going to assess the personal finance app's alignment with the company strategy. And then they're going to make decisions on continuing or terminating projects based on market conditions and company goals. At the end of the day, this portfolio manager is responsible for whether or not we're going to take on this challenge of even diving into the world of personal finance technology. Now, the portfolio manager has decided to move forward with this. However, they are not going to be able to manage how this personal finance app gets built, the processes, all the key elements, all the features necessary, deep dive into the market to see which features to focus on. And so they realize that this is going to have to be a program that we develop, and we need to put someone in charge of that, i.e., a program manager. This program manager is going to oversee the entire personal finance app development project or program. This program is going to include multiple projects in it. These projects could be like the expense tracking part of the app, the budgeting part of the app, the investment monitoring part of the app. All of these are different projects within this program. They're going to coordinate the different feature items. They're going to manage the interdependencies, like ensuring the budget feature integrates well with the expense tracking. They're going to align individual feature projects with the overall strategy of the app. And then they're going to report the program's progress to senior management, i.e., the portfolio manager. Now, because this program has so many different features, which means there's so many different projects that have to take flight, there's absolutely no way for this program manager to tackle this feat alone. And now they bring in project managers. Now, it may be one project manager working on multiple projects that are related to each other, or they may be multiple project managers and each of them are given a certain number of projects to manage that may interconnect with each other, but they all relate to each other because they all fall within that same program. Now, for this example, let's say we have a project manager that has been assigned the expense tracking feature project. Their job is to define the project scope, timeline, and budget only for that expense tracking feature development. They're going to assign tasks to the different developers, designers, and the testers, the QA testers, quality assurance. They're going to manage all the risk and issues related to this specific feature. And then they're going to make sure that the expense tracking feature meets all the quality standards and deadlines. And they are constantly providing their program manager status updates on this specific project. And so now you can kind of see how all these roles are related to each other and how there's more responsibility involved as you move up the ladder. Now, there's one more role that I want to talk about that you may see depending on the company that you're working for, and that is a project coordinator. Their role is to support the project manager with administrative tasks. They're also going to assist with scheduling, documentation, and communication. They will help track project progress and update team members. Generally, they have less authority and responsibility than a project manager. So you can view project coordinators as an assistant to the project manager. They are not doing the heavy lifting of defining the scope, the budget, the timeline. They're assisting the project manager after that has already been created so they can do the other administrative tasks as far as following up with people or maybe taking the meeting notes or creating some type of presentation that's needed or pulling data and reports, right? So I wanted to throw that out there because some companies may offer this, and this is a great entry-level role for people to kind of get into the field, but understand that everyone does not have that. Now, if we add a project coordinator to our example with the personal finance app, they would assist in coordinating different things for that expense tracking feature development project. So they're going to schedule the team meetings for the expense tracking feature, right? So anyone that's on that specific project, they'll go ahead and schedule that meeting. They'll take that admin task off of the project manager's hand. They're going to maintain documentation for this feature, which means all the paperwork that we're doing, they're going to probably organize it, keep it in folders, get it together and have it organized for us so that it's easily accessible. They're going to take meeting notes and track action items. So that means if we had a meeting and there were different action items that were called out and we need to follow up, they're going to check in with those folks to ensure that it got done and update the project manager accordingly. They're also going to collect progress reports from the different developers. So they may check in with the developers to kind of see, hey, where are we? Did we get a chance to knock this out? And they're like, yes. And then they go provide that update to the project manager and stuff like that. So project coordinators are essential, especially in really big projects where there are so many moving parts that the project manager needs an assistant. But more often than not, there's a lot of companies where they see that you can get it done because it's not a heavy lift. We don't need that extra person. I know that was a lot, but that was a perfect way to break down all the different job titles and things that you may see out there. But also, it may help you figure out where you want to fit in this ecosystem. Do you see yourself moving up and being more strategy focused? Or are you the person that just wants to be in the weeds and kind of manage the day to day of how we actually get these things done? And just like that, we've reached the end. I want to thank you for tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you are getting professional development with me, and I love that for you. As always, be sure to follow me on social media, specifically Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Lola the Manager. I do want to remind y'all that my calendar is open for one-on-ones for those that are interested in all things project management. We can chop it up about how to get into this industry. Whatever you want, all the information is in the description. I'm also now selling templates. So my actual resumes that I've been using to get project jobs, the digital portfolios that I've created, and even all the templates that I've showcased in this series thus far, all of them are made available in my Etsy shop, and that is in the description. Once again, thank you all for being here. I love you all. Be sure to drop all your questions in the comments, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Until next time.